of you remember Funkies, and it shows. Funkies was a game from 2007 where you could travel the world and meet with other Funkies. It was kind of like Webkinz, but for the kids who were cool. Or for kids like me who were trying a little bit too hard to fit in. What made this game stand out from the rest, though, was this little stand that you would plug into your computer. The idea was that you placed your Funky onto this little guy, and it would be transported into the world. Granted, it didn't last for long. Mattel stopped making the toys back in 2010, but it was the first step into the Toys to Life craze. A lot of people consider Skylanders from 2011 setting the standard for this Toys to Life season of gaming. For a while, it seemed if you wanted your game to stand out, it needed to be marketable and profitable with expansions or, in this case, merch and toys. Skylanders is what we all think of with Toys to Life. You buy one of the figures for the game, place it on a portal of some kind, and you see your character enter the world. That was actually my first introduction into all of this. The idea of not only having a game, but one where I could display these little figures around was so cool to me at the time. Especially with how they look. I mean, come on, look at these figures! They each have so much character to them and detail. I mean, gosh, just look at the giants. These were awesome. Too bad they came at a ridiculous price. Look, I get it. Toys and video games aren't cheap. Then again, it doesn't seem like very much is cheap anymore, especially those eggs, am I right? Okay. $70 for a game in the early 2010s that isn't complete without the figures that are sold separately, mind you, didn't exactly sit right with everyone. Okay, but there can't be that much. If I wanted to access everything this game had to offer, how much exactly would I have to spend? Well, the figures themselves were around $8 each, and the different adventure packs were about $20. So adding that up means that Activision thought this was a $400 to $450 game. And that's not even including the additional games where these figures are also usable. This is opening night. There's always been a pull for players to bring elements of the real world into their games. Xbox did it with the Kinect camera, Tony Hawk tried it with a skateboard. Hey, even on the Wii, creating your Mii was something that let players feel like they were doing things they see on the screen. "Look, Mom, I'm snowboarding," said the Floridian boy who's never seen snow at the time.
Yep, that's me.
So Skylanders wasn't really my thing. I never played Spyro, and the price didn't really seem justifiable at the time. But my eyes were drawn to a ripoff of Skylanders with the Disney Infinity series. I actually went out and found Disney Infinity 2.0 for about $15 at a consignment store. I mean, who would want to get rid of this? These games were incredible. I remember spending hundreds of hours on this game and coming home after school just to play some more. So let's plug it in and relive some childhood memories. It wasn't much, but we had each other, and that was enough. Looking back on Disney Infinity, I think it's the nostalgia for the game that dragged me in. The game's fine. It didn't do anything crazy, but for a kid in the early 2000s, this was still a fun time. I loved the ability to create my own worlds using the tools in the toolbox. I typically made racetracks for my parents to play in. In a strange way, a lot of my creative spark and drive to create things can be stemmed from these games, so I gotta give it that. That doesn't mean it's incredible by any measure, but it still has a soft spot in my heart. These games pretty much came out whenever Disney bought another company. Disney Infinity focused on their pre-existing companies like Pixar. Disney Infinity 2.0 was Marvel and Spider-Man, who can't swing around. And Disney Infinity 3.0 was Star Wars. There was also an Inside Out level, which I remember not being able to finish because I learned what motion sickness was that day. See? Memories! Oh, and just for fun, I punched the numbers to figure out how much it would cost for everything throughout all three games, and $2,300 is a bit much. A semester at college, Disney Infinity. I made the right call. The final game I remember everyone talking about at this time was LEGO Dimensions. At this point, people were starting to go away from Toys to Life kind of games. It didn't help that these figures also take up a lot of room on people's shelves. But LEGO is a company that's been in the gaming world for a while. And with Warner Brothers behind it, they could access so much more than the other games. Each set you bought was like its own little level. Back to the Future, The Wizard of Oz, The Simpsons, Portal? Look, this is as close as we'll ever get to Valve making Portal 3. Each level also came with Lego sets you had to build before placing them on the portal. I mean, out of all of them, this one seemed like it would do the best. It even performed better in its first week when compared to Skylanders Superchargers and Disney Infinity 3.0. It lasted about 2 years and then it quietly went away. By 2017, everyone had moved on. It was a gimmick, and gimmicks die as quickly as they come. Now, that isn't to say these companies didn't make out well. Skylanders made over $3 billion, so they did fine. But after you have a Toys to Life concept and everyone else copies it, how do you make your game stand out? Skylanders had a bit of an identity crisis for a while, trying different ideas, but none of them stuck. I gotta be honest, I kinda miss the Toys to Life era of gaming. Granted, I don't think we should go back to it, but having that excitement for when these games would come out was something exciting to look forward to. Game companies are still looking for ways to connect players to the digital world, so that isn't going away anytime soon, but this was the first step in making that happen. Now, that's just my thoughts on the Toys to Life craze, but what about you? What are your thoughts on these kinds of games? Let me know in the comments. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this video, and remember to chase the chaos.